So joined now by former Portumna hurler Eugene McEntee and former Gort hurler Craig Lally to look back on the senior and intermediate semi-finals as well as the senior B final over the weekend. Craig, it's Turlock and St. Thomas's in the final, but like everyone I think who's been on this podcast this year, everyone was tipping Loughrea, and it's hard to believe they're out of the championship, but credit has to be given to Turlock as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like from the start, I'd say everyone was tipping Loughrea definitely to get back in there. And Thomas speaks for himself, especially the way the lineup went all year. It was the way it was falling with the quarterfinals and semi-finals. They were kind of kept away from each other. But yeah, Turlough, in all fairness, to them, they rose to the occasion. They responded when they was thrown at them back to level there with 59 or 60 minutes gone. I think time was up in normal time, and Loughrea brought it back to level. And you thought to yourself, it was there for Loughrea to win. But Turlock dug deep and they got the goal, and like it was really. But I think the strength of Turlock's panel really showed, like when they're bringing on some subs to change the game for them, and I just think that it was like it just they showed a side to them, I suppose, that they were probably lacking for the last couple of years since they're in the county final 3 years ago, and they got that back again the last day. And not great in their fairness, they tried hard. They brought the subs they brought on, Neil Carey and Anthony Burns, nearly changed it for them, 3 or 4 points between them, which just came up short, I suppose. And like they were so good all year. I think that goal they conceded in the semi final was the only goal they conceded in the championship, and then to concede two in the semi final, it just wasn't the way they were playing all year. They were so solid in the back. So I suppose them 2 goals just really that's what the difference was. You mentioned it there before we came on air that the second goal really killed them. Like, and it was a pity for their sake. But look, Jamie was a massive loss. Jamie Ryan, he was their talisman all year. We spoke about it in the podcast there last week. He probably was the hurler of the championship so far in regards to the club championship. Definitely scoring terms anyway. So to have him missing on the day was massive. Like him, even though the lads struck the freeze in all fairness, they hit the freeze well for the majority of the game, so that was covered in regards to that. But like in any given day, he's going to get you 4 or 5 points from play. And of course he'll take marking as well. Like you're probably pulling Dahi out of centre back to follow him maybe, or someone a strong marker on him. So look, they'll be disappointed. I'm sure they probably sat down last year after the county final and said to themselves, we're not too far away. We probably should have won last year. It's probably the best team in the championship last year. We'll give it a right good crack again this year. Brought in John Conlon to the backroom team. A few of the younger lads probably got a bit more experience from playing the county final last year. Everything was going their way. They were the best team in the championship so far this year. They were winning games easily in the group and had a good win over this strong Clarebridge team in the quarter final, and thought everything was falling their way. And look, that's sport, I suppose. And unfortunately, when you lose a talisman like that and things don't go your way on the day, it can happen.
Before we get into look at the match and the different key parts of it, Eugene, the Turlock management of Brian Holland and Darren O'Shaughnessy here have to be given huge credit because they just seemed to get a lot right yesterday, even with a few tactical switches they made, the way they had their team set up yesterday.
Yeah, I actually I spotted the boys when we were playing them ourselves in the first round of the championship, and just the way they had the setup. Like I looked at the line, and they were all tuned in, they were all hooked up. And the good thing about it with Darren and as you were saying that they'd go around the field, they'd make their way around, and I was tipping around myself, just trying to maybe throw in a spanner in the work, trying to change a few boys. But the boys were, whether they were only coming up beside me, maybe see what I was going to say to the lads. But I just thought they were tuned into everything what was happening. You're so right. They have a good setup, and I'd say they must have a good person in the stand as well, because when you're in Pierce Stadium, we all know, like, you're standing out and you're looking at eye level right across the field. And when you're in the centre of the field, you can see so much, but like sometimes you need lads in positions that are watching the game coming or going, or up at a height looking down at it, and you can see maybe a little bit more of the movement where, sometimes you're following the ball. But, the boys have been so, like, they were very good hurlers themselves. They know they're fresh, they're young men, and, they're driven, and they were driven themselves when they were hurlers. When I was hurling against them, they were very good. They were on good Turlock teams that we only could barely beat at times, and they were tough. They know what it is and they know what it's about. But what they have is they see themselves to have a great panel, and they're brought. The bench was the big key here. They had subs to bring in, and they brought in one or two against us and worked as well. Now I knew they were one or two short, but look at the mid no odds. They could have put lads around the place that day against us, and then it was like a shootout for them for a finish. But saying that, you still have to go in. You have to stick with your guns. Doesn't matter who you're playing and your setup. And they were so positive with the way they started the game, finished. Like they even they put on a sweeper against us. They were 16 points up. We pulled 7 points on the trot, and I just seen, God, the boys bringing back a sweeper behind Dahi. I says, like, we only got a purple patch, but Turlough, I kind of said, God, they're getting a little bit nervous here now. But it was a call they made to settle. They got racked up a few more pints, and it just sorted it out. Now, that call was done, and it was a fair call. They got over the betters, but I have to say, like, they are tuned in. They have a good bite, a good appetite, and them lads would be hungry now after losing a county final 3 years ago. The more, I suppose, experience. Them Turlock lads have a under 20s. They had battle with Sarsfields there 2 years ago, or I'll say 12, 16, 18 months ago, and them lads now know what it's like. And I suppose that year of hurling and that competitiveness of playing that level is now shown that, they have a hurler on each line that is very, very effective, if not two hurlers, as you go up through the field. And they are filling the cogs there well. And, when you have Dahi Burke and a few stalwarts like him, you'd only have to drive it on. And I suppose that's where the selectors are doing. They are starting to say, here, this doesn't come around. And you got to use it when you have it. And, you could be there 5 years and playing semi-finals and finals and not winning. I think these lads will try to get them over the line. But see, they lost to Thomas's in our group. Greg will probably give you more insight on that. Was it, did it go out to beat them? The Thomas is just no problem, push them aside. Yeah, it's going to gear up to a cracker because both of them have played each other already. It was a good game the last day in the group, but it's a final. You're playing the county champions, 6 in a row. Experience to the last. As I say, I'd let the Turlock lads go at. Don't, if they start worrying about things and get too much too deep, like, instead of being more direct, be sharp, be positive on the sideline and let them at it, because, you don't go in trying to cut out all the spots of Thomas's and get carried away maybe on them totally. Instead of, you got to let them go. These lads know what finals are now. They have played a few of them. So, they're going to be underdogs. They were beaten already with Thomas's. The papers will have it. The media will have it that way. But a final is a final, and it's a big ask again for Thomas's. I think they're a fantastic side. They're a credit to themselves being back there again. It's not simple, lads. Time after time after time, they're doing it. Now, they look at Loughrea last year and probably said Thomas's were lucky. Thomas's have 1 or 2 players back this year. What do Turlock go to go at them? And that's what Loughrea done with them last year. So I know, well, Thomas's will be ready for them as well, because they'll know of them as well, very, very inside as well,
Greg, just on Turlock's victory yesterday, it really seemed like you're always going to get performances from Ronan, Dahi, Sean Linan, Connor Walsh, Jamie Holland, but the younger players yesterday really seemed to stand up and rise to the occasion. Tom Quirk in midfield was just unbelievable. 1-2. Dara Whelan went back to wing back. Killian Whelan at wing forward. Matthew Terpy inside. It really seemed them younger players really came to the fore yesterday for Turlock.
Yeah, definitely. Like the two Whelans in particular are very good. Tom Quirk was brilliant, gave it his all, come off 5 minutes to go, just absolutely exhausted. Got a great goal. He's been lively all year though, and he was injured for the quarterfinal, I think, but he was very good against us. He was a really good one. But even Jamie Holland caused Johnny an awful lot of trouble there in the start of the second half. Probably got Turlock back on top. Connor was very solid in the freeze. Lofty, come on. Obviously, as you said, you're going to get a strong performance out of Ronan. Dahi was good at 6 all around. But I think the whole past of Turlock Moore, the fail is these teams are winning years ago. They're starting to come to the fore now. Like, if you see Vincent Doyle start his first game of the year, the last day, like yesterday, and he was one of the best performers in the field, so solid in the backs. No sign of him all year. You know what I mean? Like Brendan Phelan was a great asset to get from Waterford. He did unbelievable damage in there yesterday. Caught the ball lovely there for the free at the end. Got his 2 points in the board. Was a menace. Something Turlock Moore probably didn't have since maybe Ronan Badger was there. He's kind of a Ronan Badger type of go-to man when the ball isn't there. Big high ball into the forward, big strong man. Will cause Finton trouble the next day. Something different for Finton maybe than what he's used to the last while. So they have it all around, and like I suppose the biggest thing at Turlock the last few years is the question wasn't about did they have the hurlers, it was just getting the performances, and I suppose that's been hot and cold, and even the group. But like I suppose there is like they're probably getting a bit more experienced lads now stepping up to play. Daniel Loftus was very good yesterday, especially the start of the second half there when they needed him. Stood up, great balls down along the wing. And even as I said to you, Dara Walsh made a big difference in the goals, short puck outs, long puck outs. Having even though he's 20 years of age, the last puck out of the game there when there's only a point in it, give it to Ronan, calm things down, hit the ball along to the corner. So I think it's a coming of age for this Turlough Moore team in regards to getting back to the county final. I think they've underachieved in the last few years what the talent that they have. And I just think that as Eugene said there, they'll have no fear going in against Thomas's the next day. And I think they kind of expressed that yesterday. They showed that in a way. And they didn't fear Loughrea. They attacked, they went at it. And but I think their biggest asset so far this year is the fact that they've used so many players like Kevin Hussey, very experienced player, county panel player for a few years, didn't even feature yesterday. Was injured, didn't get a chance. I don't know how he's fixed the county final. But to be able to lose someone like that and be able to change him and bring on the subs that they had, Tom Cork went out to midfield instead of him and played a blinder. And like Lofty got 15 minutes yesterday. I don't know if he'll be fit for the next day, but if he is fit, he is a county standard player to bring back in there again. So everything is going the right way. You could say they've timed the run okay. They've huffed and puffed in the group, but they've really done well now to get that performance the last day. And as Eugene said, the experience of playing the county final 3 years ago, under 20 teams, that'll stand in the next day as well against Thomas. And they won't fear Thomas at all either. So they had a good old battle in the group, but as Eugene said, I know Turlock weren't fully safe in the group, but they were as good as there. So I think it was only shadow boxing in the group in that last game. So it'll be a different story the next day.
It was interesting to hear Ronan speak after the game from that Thomas's game, and he referenced they feel like they let themselves down against Thomas's, so that's already kind of whetting the appetite for the county final between Thomas's and Turlock. But Eugene, there was an element of bravery yesterday with Turlock Moore, because we've seen Loughrea go with that kind of two-man inside of Darren Shaughnessy and Martin McManus all year. Vincent Doyle came in, and Turlock nearly at stages decided to play with 4 in their half back line and follow the kind of Loughrea half forward line all around the place. And there was this question, if it turned into a game of hurling, people had doubts whether Turlock could compete, but especially from the start coming in as underdogs, they just really made this into a battle.
They did, because bringing 4 back in the half back line there, I suppose they targeted it with Loughrea, with the running game. Loughrea come through the middle a fair bit, and with the way I know they were missing yesterday, and that's where Loughrea, I found in the last few years, middle of the field, half forward line, they're so good at running through, and if they don't, they have the quick ball in. But there's still to be a lad coming through the middle, even if the ball went into the corner to McManus, or there's always that support outside. So when the inside lads would get the ball, that's where Loughrea would be coming with volume of players around the middle third there. And you'd always have 1 or 2 of them running through and taking the pass. So you're always looking over your shoulder to see is there anything coming through the middle. And then if there's not, the Loughrea lad will take you on and he's able to stick it over the bar. There's always 2 options, 2 outs. But with Turlock Moore coming back and putting solid hurlers there, it always left that it didn't matter if two Loughrea lads would go forward. There was still, you had 2 left. You had 1 lad sitting, so regardless of a 50-50 ball that'll go in, you always had the support of maybe 1 lad sitting back in to take the pass off him, or he could go hard at it, knowing that he's going to have cover, and that helps a lot. And it also, when you break down the play, now you're coming out of defence, and it can work as well, because you can do maybe 1 or 2 passes of lad running off your shoulder because you have the number there, and then you can let the play go yourself, or be direct that there is a lad out. You know, you have a crowded there. The middle third is crowded. You can go along yourself, where there was lots of space in for the Turlock lads up the other end as well when it did happen. You know, so like with that four-man defense, a lot of teams are doing it now. A lot of teams are. We tried it so many different ways as well. You know, Gart would have done it. Like even teams we played, I'm just saying, like you can see the way it's not really a sweeper, but it can work out as a sweeper because every lad would pick a lad, but there'd be one lad maybe free. He's the cover man, so you are picking up lads coming at you. But then it doesn't make a difference. Mind is made up. One lad might be doing a marking job. Another lad is there. He takes the next clearest lad. But they're blocking off middle because I suppose that was a great play. That's where Loughrea are very, very dangerous. They're great to play the ball through the lines, and they didn't have, you know, the running to take them on because they were able to match them up with defensive, and it was harder for the inside Loughrea lads when they were getting it. They were looking for this lad maybe offload the ball and didn't bang it over the bar because no, it happened a few times, all right. But it wouldn't be the free flow the way the Loughrea lads. But Jamie Ryan now would be a massive indicate where that a lot of that works. And they didn't have that yesterday, but still Turlock went with their solid defence like that to cover up, to tighten it up. And when you have half forward line coming back as well, and your midfielders, like, you know, even a corner forward would pull out, he'd push the wing forward back into midfielder pull back into the half back line. You're creating a four there at any time, you know, and but down to that means you have to be clued in, you have to have the lads working, running up and down. You know, it takes a bit of effort to get it right. But, you know, you seen yourself, as you said it there, the four men across the line, they knew what they're at.
Yes, in that first half, it felt like when Brian Carey got the goal, you were almost thinking, Jesus, like Turlock have a lot of the hurling done here, but Loughrea responded with a goal like that. It's 1-5 to 7 points, Brian Carey on 18 minutes. But it was a common theme yesterday, Craig, with Turlock. When Loughrea got that score, Turlock were always ready to respond.
They were, and I suppose in the first half, like they were very smart. Like a lot of frees. They won a lot of frees at vital times. The Connor was it 8 out of the first 12 points for frees or something like that. An awful lot of frees in the first half, but they were cute and how they got
in the first half.
Was it 7? Was it?
Yeah.
Like they were very cute in how they won the frees. At the right time, just experienced, and that's the way the game, and that's the way to be in the final as well. Like it's time of the year for it. The ground was very soft yesterday. It was a lot of roughs, and they were very smart in winning the frees. Jamie Holland, as I said to you, in particular, Connor won a few himself. So they did well in that regard. Just going back to Loughrea full forward line. I thought Loughrea, if they're looking back and they're reviewing the whole game yesterday, they probably didn't play to their strengths. Like when Martin McManus got the ball in the second half, about 10 minutes to go, got 2 lovely balls in front of him, got 2 points, got a good return. Like they probably didn't get enough out of the full forward line because, like, I just thought that the ball probably wasn't going in quick enough. And I know with Jamie there, they probably have been playing all year where Jamie gets the ball in the half forward line, he runs it, he takes it on. Whereas I thought that Dahi probably sat back a small bit in the first half and stopped that ball and notified the ball going in. But like in all fairness, I just thought that Darren Shaughnessy, the ball he did get, and Mark McManus, particular Darren, I thought Darren was absolutely unbelievable yesterday. He caused Ron a lot of trouble, and I thought Mark McManus caused Mark Murphy a lot of trouble as well. I just thought that they didn't get enough ball. Mark McManus got 3 brilliant points yesterday from play when the ball went in front from Darren was very, very good now as well. I thought he's probably Loughrea's best forward, the best I've seen him hurl all year. But that's probably where Loughrea, when they look back themselves, look back and say, geez, we didn't actually make use of the 2-man full forward line enough. So back on your last point. But yeah, going back to Turlough, I just thought that when they needed to respond the last day, responded to the goal very well. Finished the goal very well in the first half. Like the mistake Paul Hooben made and Shane Morgan going for the same ball, it was very smart to stay out for the goal. Just played a really smart game yesterday, I thought. But I suppose it's gone back to the point there as well about Brendan Phelan, like the ball that was going to full forward line. They were well able to play off him as well. Do you know what I mean? Like something that probably wouldn't have done.
Did Loughrea get that matchup wrong? Should Oisin Coyle have been someone that should have been tied up with Brendan Phelan, do you think, Craig?
I don't think so, like, because like if you look at Paul Hooben all year, he's probably one of the best fullbacks that's been there all year, like, and he loves that battle, like, you know what I mean? I just think Brendan Phelan had a really good game yesterday. And don't get me wrong, like there wasn't too many bar that last ball in the last 5 minutes, that catch that he made for the point, that was like obviously a vital catch. But there wasn't too many one-on-one high balls that were Paul all day. So it was more him getting out in front of Paul. Like, he got two beautiful points off each shoulder. He mishit one as well that he probably should have put over with maybe 5 minutes to go. But he laid off a good bit of ball as well. But he's a big physical presence. But pushing Kyle in at his own job going around after he was marking Conor Walsh a good bit as well. Like, so like, there was a bit of that going on. I don't think Loughrea, I think you mentioned that. I think on not our podcast, I think I heard the podcast beforehand, before leading up to the matches, that you were mentioning about how Loughrea don't go man for man. They just mark, they play their six backs, and whoever comes in there all year, that's the way they do it. And I think that's the way they played the last day. So I don't think they were going to change their ways just for the sake of that. But Turlough could be happy with how they done. But I think Turlough could be very happy with the amount of different scores they had yesterday. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that there was a good spread of scores all through the game. But I think they probably need more return from play in the county final against Thomas's. They can't be relying on Conor Walsh scoring 12 frees.
12? Yeah, 12 frees. Yeah, all from frees.
Like, Conor scored everything from frees. Probably, it looked, I wasn't there now, but it looked on the TV that point was, geez, I don't know, if I was Conor, I would have been a bit more aggrieved. That point looked over to me, even though I know it's Earl and Niall said that it wasn't. It creeped out wide, but probably need more from play. Not enough points from play. You can't be relying on 12 points from frees against Thomas's. They'll definitely crack up more from play the next day.
And just on this, like, because if you look at that game yesterday, on 45 minutes, Turlock went 217 to 114 up, but like, Loughrea responded remarkably. Shane Morgan misses a free, but then he equalises it, and it's 218 to 121 on 59 minutes. And there's a couple of frees there that Loughrea missed between different free takers, between, I think, Brian Carey had one, Neil Carey had one, Shane Morgan had one. They're going to be huge regrets, Eugene. And obviously this comes back to missing Jamie. He's been so consistent on the frees, but I think that's what's going to really kill them, because there was huge chances between the 45th and 59th minute there for Loughrea.
Well, that's it. You know, it's very, very important to have a good free taker. I suppose I was just saying on Greg's tally there about young Walsh, you know, getting the points from all frees. Go to Conor Cooney. Look what he done with Thomas's yesterday. All the frees, but what did he pop up with as well? You know, now, if you had Jamie, that's what Jamie would do. He'd be popping up with points and he'd be nailing your frees. That's a big game player. Joe Cannon would be ours. You know, every club would have one. If you lose one, it's important to have a serious free taker banging them over, which it's so important, because your free taker, anything could happen to him. But in big moments, when you need the scores, Greg will tell you himself, I've often seen Greg stepping up down Loughrea, sticking balls over the bar back in his own 45-yard line. But it's important to have a free taker. We do the same. You know, they're like goals when it's in the barrel. You know, they're like goals. Because you're doing it. You're in the last few minutes. You're working so hard for that free. You know, and the lads that are working hard for it doesn't matter where it is in the field. You're tired. The brain is tired. And when a lad steps up and sticks it over the bar, it actually revitalizes you for the next ball, because it's, you know, you're still there. You know, the crowd lets a roar, the hair stands at the back of your head. You want the next ball. You want to win a free again, you know. But the thing is, you got to nail them. And you're right, like, changing a few free takers, missing a few frees, they'll come back to haunt you. And as you said, 59 minutes, you know, draw a match. They came back serious, and they'll have to step up, knock the 1-0-2. It could have dropped the Turlock's heads, but you know what? It gave them a lifeline. It was 3 misses, 3 resets of puck outs. You know, that's very, very important as well. I suppose the 4 in the back line for Turlock probably gave them options as well during the game of a quick puck out or a short one, or a lad making a run, especially when you have the lad back. He can go off running, looking for a puck out and reset again. You know, they're small things. He drove it down at the end into the corner. You know, as I said, good coaching. But yeah, going back to the free taker, like, you know, I feel sorry, because it'll be tough on them lads that missed as well. And to change it, and for one lad missing and you're going to a different lad, you know, it kind of just, you know, if you're there in the field, you're saying, Jesus, lads, who's stepping up? Like, and then you're here, oh no, like, oh God, why are we changing? Like, it just, you know, I don't know. it can't be happening in semi-finals like that or finals. You can't afford to miss them. You cannot afford to miss them. You'll need every one of them to get over the line. And I suppose that was the factor at that end of calls there at the end yesterday. Walshy stood up for Turlock and he put them over the bar. And Greg says he missed one, but like, it's important. He did get them, but he has to come with another part of his game if he wants to be like, to max on top of what he's doing. You need it against Thomas's, because all the Thomas's lads will pop up anywhere. They'll find lads to pop up scoring points, and you give Connor anywhere from 80 yards. Tell you one thing, he's flying it, all fairness to him. And it's credit to him. It's a credit to him. But that's the difference. We won county finals like that. And, we were the same. It was important to bring a lad back and stick one over the bar, and it's a draw match. And, whether it was our Ireland Club semi-finals or finals, like, it is a booster for you. It's a huge, huge booster. And you can be down, you get 2 frees, you're back in there, a draw. You just want the next ball. They're here afraid to foul you now. Do you know what I mean? And you have that as well. Like, that's another side. When you have a good free taker, you can't lunge in, and these are the things. And, they're the small factors, and they're big ones, but they're huge factors, but they're the small little things that are the key to get over the line. So, like, if Turlock lose, Walshy the next day, they'd want to be for the next 2 weeks, they want to be, every lad would want to be, you want to be nailing another free taker. And Thomas, as I know, if the last Connor, they'd have 1 or 2 more lads that'd be well able to take frees as well,
With that, even though it was Brian Carey yesterday and Shane Morgan on the frees, Shane Morgan was kind of going for long ones and Brian Carey was taking short ones in. But Craig, they were the 2 players for Loughrea who kept the fight going all day long.
Yeah, and as I said to you, when they sit back and they review the whole day yesterday, Paul, I think they'll have a few regrets in regards to the way they played, the way they set up, conceding of the goals. But also, I know Shane Morgan had got 3 from 3 before he missed that 4th free. That was to go a point up. So after getting 6 points in a row there, as you mentioned, they had all the momentum. They brought back to level on 59 minutes. Shane Morgan missed the free, which is fine. In all fairness, the long range free. He had 3 got before that. That was the 4th when he missed it. Ball came back out, won the free again. But in all fairness, and I don't know who made the call, was it Neil himself? But I know Neil had done well since he come on, but maybe Neil should have left it to the brother just to hit. Do you know what I mean? Like, he hadn't missed one all day, and it was a bit closer in. Shane, all right, had missed one before that, but it was a big call now for Neil to step over that free. And then, like, you're after missing 2 points, then the momentum dies down. It goes against Jan Turlock, go back up the field and get a score, and that's where they pushed on. So, I'm not saying, Neil has been a great free taker for Loughrea down to the years. I wouldn't question him for 1 second, but it was a big call for him to step over that free. When Watchcall be doing so well on them. So, and just another thing on that as well, actually, with the long range frees, and something that was just notable watching it, is that Dahi caught one out of the air from the goal mouth and blocked 2 as well from the goal mouth in the whole game. Like, it was just, it's rare enough you see it where it, like, and I've done it myself so many times as a centre back, you sit back in the pocket. In the first half, he batted one that went over the bar. It was a great bat that went over the bar. He's standing on the goal line. He caught one just under the crossbar, and I think he batted out another one or caught another one 3 times in the one game where the centre back made an intervenance from a free from long distance. So it just shows the importance, and I suppose the experience of Dahi to be able to sit back there and give Dara Walsh, I suppose, who's only second championship game ever in senior, to give him, I suppose, that he's not putting that pressure on him to deal with them high balls. But yeah, I think Loughrea will be just, not to reference the county final again last year or anything like that, but just them frees, as Eugene said, they're like, that was Joe back in the day, 60, 63, 64, 65 minutes, them vital frees, they have to go over. And to get 2 chances at them, go a point up, maybe get the momentum that you're winning, then more heads go down. It's a big call, unfortunately, for them, especially when the 2 young lads have been doing very well with them all day, and especially Shane Morgan, had 3 crackers from distance. So I'm sure that's when they reflect and everything in the coming weeks. They'll be disappointed with that as well, and how it finished out.
There's no point to saying otherwise with reference to Craig. Jamie's massive loss for them, and it probably was a difference. But where do you feel Loughrea go from here now? This current management group have been with them for 4 years. Last year was disappointment after the county final defeat, and as we've said, they've been favourites. They were expected to get back to a county final. They've came up short. Like where do you go from here when there's a year of so much expectation?
Like like they're still, in regards to youth, they haven't anybody that's like Johnny probably was the oldest, I'd say, lining out for them. Paul Hoban maybe is, I think they're tit for tat. Maybe Paul's a year older, but so fit, like, so they're not losing anybody in regards to age or retirement or anything like that. And they have a lot of those younger lads like Darren Chappensy, Dylan Chappensy, the Careys, and maybe Neil, I suppose, is a bit older. Jamie's still young. Jamie will be involved in the county panel going forward for the year, I presume. Like, they have a lot of experience and a lot of youth that they need to bring through. So I don't think that like the two Killings as well, two more who have experience with county panels, two lads that have gained a lot of experience down to the years, the last 2 or 3 years, and what they've done. I still think that they're up there in the top three teams, obviously in the county. I still think they're good enough to challenge against Thomas's if they'd won the last day. But we referenced it a few times here. Jamie is a serious loss. Like, it's the same thing as losing your Joe Canning for Portumna, or your Connor Cooney for St. Thomas's, or your not Sean Loftus because he was missing the last day, but your Dahi Burke for Turlock. It's the same reference point. So it is a big loss, and there's no hiding that. If I was the management, I just know they freshened it up this year. They brought in John Conlon. I'm sure he brought a lot to the table. We mentioned it here in the podcast 2 weeks ago. It's as good as a management setup as you're going to get in regards to club level. It's probably on par with county level. As a Loughrea player, if I was sitting down after a couple of days in the beer and I was looking at it again next week, and I wanted to sit down and see where I was heading next year as a leader of the group, I'd be hoping to, first thing I'd be doing is going back, and I'd be getting that management team, every one of them, back on side if I could, and go again next year, and try and put it on, because like there's no doubt in the way they're set up all year. Nothing went their way yesterday in regards to luck. Seeing the goals, the first goal in particular, is something you'd never see from Loughrea. Two lads enough for the one ball. That's not what they do. So I just think it was a bad day at the office yesterday, but I still think they're capable of going on and winning county side again next year. But it's very important to keep that management team in place, because they've proven they've won the league 2 years in a row. They've won every group game with ease. They're a really good setup, and that all comes from the management setting up the players. So I'd say try and go again, get things going again in the winter in 2 or 3 months' time, and get lads back in the gym.
Just finally on Turlock, Eugene, before we get into the other game, 4-1 to they outscored Loughrea 4 points to 1 from the 59th minute to the end, till full time. Sean Lennon comes up with a key score. Sean O'Hanlon, Connor Walsh comes up with key frees as well. That was ultimately the difference. But when you consider, obviously, Jamie being out, Michael Morris was out for Turlock Moore, Kevin Hussey was out, the two of them were unavailable. Sean Loftus gets on for 15 minutes. With all of that thrown at them as well, like it's even more of an impressive result for Turlock.
Oh, it is. It is indeed. First, they would have went in as you say, underdogs. The true, as we said earlier on there, like it looked like, we'll go at them. We have no fear. The true Everton at Loughrea, and I suppose the go at that attitude was what you seen at the end was positive. They came on with the key players, key lads stood up. It was very set in their heads that, this is what we're missing. We're not able to kick on. They kicked on. They were missing the few players. The lads came on. Everton was positive. Everton was, go at, don't lose. You do not finish until the ref has your eardrum blown away with the whistle, until you stop. And it was like that with them yesterday until, you could see at the end when the whistle went, like it was, you could see the relief in them. You could see the excitement in them, because they really focused on going at them, and they set with what they were started out at, and every one of them was clued in. It didn't matter who was starting. Like you mentioned there, like lads coming up the field banging a pint, like they're all serious hurlers, like they're all good quality county hurlers. And if you want to win a county final, they're the days, they're the lads you need to step up, coming up the field. They're the ones you want to pull you over the line, where maybe the last couple of years they were failing with that. They were doing it in all the group games and all the things because Everton, but when they came up against the team and I was able to squeeze them and push them back, they were probably missing that one or two to kind of lead the charge. Well, yesterday didn't. They all came with it. And, you know, that's between the 2 years, that's been set up. Who, you know, whoever got it right across the board to them, 10 out of 10, their belief, the want, the will, the hurrying for the freeze, everything. They weren't going to stop until, as I said, their eardrums were nearly going to blow with the referee blowing the whistle to try to stop them. And they're going to have the same drive again. They're going to have to go twice as hard. They're going to have to come, you know, so tuned in again, come with their game plan, whatever. But, you know, no regrets. They can't feel sorry for themselves if a lad doesn't show up. What they're doing is they're firing them in. Every lad is stepping up. And I think that's where the difference of yesterday was. You're going up against Loughrea. You're going up against a team that were unfortunate not to win a county final, that were coming back, dying to win a county final. You know, like, so there was pressure on them because they had to step up. They had to actually, you know, give Loughrea a right run for the money. And they did. And that belief with them now, which will really give a lot of lads that more, you know, encouragement, especially going the next day to say, you know, this is the way it has to happen, lads. You know, this is the way it has to go. You know, this is the way we need to step up. And the next day, you're going to have to step up better because you're up against lads that are inter-county, probably all the way across the field, down through their certain stages of the years gone by, current players and past players. You're going to have to, the lads you're marking, you're going to just have to say to yourself, I don't care, I have to beat him, I have to better him all day, or we're going to leak. And that's what the force of Thomas's will bring. The experience, the punishment, you leave them in a game, they're cute, you know, they'll root it out. So if Turlough come with their drive, if they come with their passion, if they come with the speed, discipline, that is the key thing against Thomas's. They cannot start giving away, you know, just the lazy freezes, I call it, you know, the slap, you know, a lad running out, you know, you have to remember from 70 yards, 75 yards around Pure Stadium, whatever about giving a free in the full forward line, you can't be start, you know, stupid things like, you know, and they're the things that will hurt you. Now, if they can just nullify all that and keep their heads very, very positive and go aggressive, go that you want to go 100 mile on that ball and you don't want to win it, it doesn't matter what it takes. You want to win the ball, hard, aggressive, fair. And as I say, you go with that attitude. Now, yesterday should stand there a lot of ways. It would have ticked a lot of boxes for them. That probably never happened in the last few games over the years. So, like, positive, again, is the main key for Turlock here now and keep their feet on the ground and, you know, get as Loftus, he needs to get a half an hour of him. Like, if you get 15 more minutes of him fit, match fit on top, like, he'd be to go ask him to go and give you 30 minutes of your life as hard as you can. I'd like to be bringing that lad in for 30 minutes, you know, not 15, but 30. Might, you know, it'll be hard to get 60 minutes out of him. But do you know what? The lad that's starting before him, do you want to lose your position in a county final? You know, you have to be dog ignorant as well. Every place on that team, I wouldn't want to be losing out. Now, if you get your starting place, fair play, you hold it, you man it, you win it, and you keep the lads on the sideline. But if it's not happening, probably won't happen for one or two lads. And that's the thing. If only one or two, you need 13 lads to get you over the final. I always say in a final, there's one or two unfortunate lads, it won't happen. Some lad will get injured and lose out. But 13 lads, they're going to need 13 serious performances against Thomas's and whoever comes off the bench. But if I was a Turlock Moore man now, I'll tell you, training the next few nights, I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't care who I'm on. I'll tell you, I'd be laying down the marker, you know, and that's a great place to be. Like, if you're on Dahi Burke, you know, you go at him, you know, you test him, like, you know, who else? Like, if you can get the better of him, as I always said it, when you're on hard lads and training and you want to better him, it stands to you when you go up against the best, you know, and you don't fear it. And that's the way they're going to have the mentality that way, like, you know.
Who would you have went at in the Portumna team?
Sorry?
Who would you have went at in the Portumna team?
I'd know the choice, man. Joe, the whole time. Start with nightmare. Now, there was a few lads, all right. The old Smiths would get stuck into you now and again now. Leo would love the old battle, and you might get a breather off Joe. And but you could be taking on one of these other lads that come with a different gravy altogether. You know, you're looking at Joe, the size, strength, get out in front of him. If he gets the ball and you give him a half yard, you're gone. With the Smiths, they're like lads chewing at your Achilles tendon the whole time. They're like terriers, like, you know. So I suppose when you're getting it from all that side, it does prepare you. Don't get me wrong, it prepares you. And that's the way you should prepare for, you know, when you want to be at the lead and win these games. You know, that's you have to be, you have to set standards yourself. And if you want to hide, or you're going to nurse an injury, I tell you, county final isn't the place to get caught out for, because the ground will open up and it'll suck you in. And I tell you, it's a lonely, lonely place. You know, you can't be going in chancing and saying nothing, and you're just dancing and tiptoeing. That's out the window. You know, if you're not ready, you're not ready. Don't fool yourself, you know, because it can put a lot of lads back. And I've seen it down through the years. And do you know what I mean? It's big calls have to be made at times, and it's not hard. It's not easy on management, and it's not fair on a player at times. But you know, if you want to win, you have to be ruthless. And I just say, like, that's the ruthlessness of winning county finals, and you know that's what they're going to have to face. So, like, look at Turlock have great management, as we said there, and a lot of these lads would have known, but also they have former lads that would have been in big finals, and you know. You know, they have to go out and enjoy it as well. You know, that's the main thing. You're down to the last two. You're 60 minutes, and the other team is 60 minutes. It's 15 on 15. You know, you have nothing to lose. Go for it. You know, it might be the hardest hour in your life, but by God, I'd love to face in the county final and give them the hardest hour of my life. Just go for 65, 70 minutes. That's probably what the length of time it'll be. If you can absolutely go so hard for it and be honest with yourself and leave it all out there, well, you can stand up and say, well, I done my best and I bettered my man. Whether you win or lose, you better your man. Simple as. You mark him, you hurl him, and let the result and the rest of the lads look after themselves. But that's the attitude that have to tick all the.
Just on the other game, Craig, Thomas is 120, Sarsfields 117. First off, two men who just keep coming up with it. One man yesterday who just kept coming up with the goals, Connor Cooney, 115. The last time you were on, we were talking about David Burke and could he make it back? He had his cruciate operation on the 9th of April and defies all logic to come back yesterday and play a part for Thomas's.
Yeah, wasn't expecting no, to be honest with you, but no, fair play to him, hats off. Obviously, as we mentioned there the last time I was on, obviously his rehab was absolutely meticulous. That goes without saying with Davey anyway. He did everything to the T, but no, fair play to him. And to be honest, not only did he come on and play his part, he made a big impact. He made 2 or 3 vital touches. But typical Davey, he was in the right position at the right time as well, once or twice. But just on straight away at it. I thought when I seen him coming on, I was watching him off the ball in the camera, and I was saying he'd surely stay out of it now. He won't get too involved. He just get a feeling for it when he comes on. But he was in the middle of it, like he was the first ruck that happened when he came on. He was in the middle of it trying to get the ball. So yeah, no, look, credit to him, and it's experience you need in those situations, and that's what he brought. But like across the board, they were very. I thought it was an experienced performance. I thought that when they needed to get the scores, they did. But they'll look back at it and they'll have plenty of points to work on as well. In regards to Sarsfields, I think when they look back in their performance as well, more than Loughrea, I think the scoring efficiency will be definitely the biggest thing to take from it. I think they're, especially in the first half there, they had some very poor wides for their standards compared to the last 2 games. I just thought taking on shots, they were getting blocked down when they weren't on. Some bad wides. They tried to run 1 or 2 balls into the goal chances. Just Darren Murphy there, a ball popped up in front of me, went to kick it into the goals. 5 yards out, just could have maybe went for the ball, won the penalty, or just really, like, I suppose in the first half when they really needed to get those scores, Kevin missed a vital free about 20 minutes in as well. Just you need all those things when you're playing Thomas's. Your scoring efficiency has to be through the roof. You need all those points to go over. You need goal chances to go in, and you just need to be absolutely ruthless when it comes to that. And I just think yesterday Sarsfields let themselves down there in that regard. Now for a finish, they finished. They came back into it and they got their 6 scores in a row, and more than Loughrea sort of more. They brought it right back. And then maybe a soft penalty went against them, to be honest. Maybe they got on the
They
flip.
seem to be two soft penalties, really, weren't they?
They were, weren't they? Yeah, I think one was cancelling out the other, though. I think the only reason the second penalty came is because the first one was soft. Um, but I suppose it added to the drama for the neutral, so we didn't mind that. But no, look, I think the two penalties were kind of soft, I think. And but look at it, I like Saracens rallied at the end, they did, and I thought that um, they showed good at the end. But I just think their scoring efficiency in the first half let them down. And look at in another day, ball pops up, you're 3 points down. Joey Cooney gets the ball 5 yards out from goal, 1 in a million chance to hit Ger Kelly's hurler knee, whatever it hit. Like Joey normally buries that, it goes to the draw. It's just I just think yesterday it didn't go their way at all. Saracens like and just they never got going like they did against Clymerdale and like they did in the quarter final against Ormore. I just thought that they didn't have a flow. I thought they're probably got caught out with inexperience in their forwards as well. I thought that Keane, Mahoney, and Finton in particular were very strong. Shane dominated. The half back line was good. Cahill, David Sherry was good. James Regan. They just showed their experience, their strength as well. I just thought the Saracens guys looked like they were small, but maybe a year or two away in strength and condition. They were getting pushed off the ball very easy, and I think that probably reflected in it all. Connor, where he hit his frees well for his standards, he was probably a small bit quieter than what he normally would. I just thought he was, for Connor's, like maybe his standards are so high that we expect him to go out and shoot the lights out every day. But yeah, I just think that Oisin Flannery had a great game as well. Like he's having a great year, Oisin Flannery all year. Aaron Ainer, Dara putting Trojan work around the field, just getting books blocks in. So Darren Morrissey, I thought played well on the flip side on Aina, and Oisin at times. So look, it was a good game overall, but I think Saracens in particular, I think they'll have to be disappointed with how the first half was. They probably let the lead go too far for Thomas as you can let them get that far ahead of you. But it was an exciting finish. Both games were exciting finishes, but I just think with Sarsfields, they needed everything to go their way, with scoring and frees and all them goal chances, and they just didn't take them.
Just on David about coming back yesterday after all that rehab since April 9th and even before that, but you experienced that cruciate injury yourself. What's it like just to get on that pitch and is it in your own head just a bit of relief to be out there?
It is. Oh, the relief is unbelievable because you're looking at training. I'm sure he's been looking out at the lads for 5 6 months, 5 months because he's back in six, just over 6 months. So you're looking out at the lads going, and it's hard watching every match. And it's a relief to get out there, but there's definitely a sense of fear. Anyway, there was with me. I was close enough to Davy. Maybe I think I was close for 7 months when I came back to county final in 16 after my one. I did mine in my operation in March, but there was definitely a sense of fear as well. Like, and that's why I said in the podcast 2 weeks ago because I remember my surgeon who did my cruciate. I came back to the county final in 2016 against Thomas's actually, and I got a letter in the post on the Thursday before the county final from my surgeon saying, "Please do not go out in that field." So the parents were showing me the letter, and I was hiding it. So it didn't. But at the same time, it was a great sense of relief because the amount of rehab that goes into cruciate. There's so many people that have it done now at this stage that they know everybody that goes through the rehab. It's a massive effort. It's basically learning how to walk again on one leg, and never mind run, and then you get through it all. So I'm sure Davy felt a great sense of relief, both to get out in the field and both to get through his 15 minutes work or 10 minutes work, whatever he got through. Because I was actually watching David Connors wrote up on Twitter about how Davy Burke has the bib off. Next thing, Connor got the penalty to make 6 points, and Davy Burke has the bib back on again. So I'd say he was wondering, will he come on at all? And I'd say the itch was there, so he had to come on for a finish just to get the itch out of the way. But like I'm sure his like that last 5 6 months was all leading up to those 10 minutes and getting out there and getting the feel for it again. And you can imagine the work he'll put in the next 2 weeks of training now. Like he'll be absolutely. I'd say Laura won't see him for the next 2 weeks. He just will not leave the pitch just to get on that count, to play as much as he can in the county final. And like I suppose credit to him as well, like because after winning all he's won, it's more than Eugene and the lads with Portumna, like to be able to come back like that and to be able to have the I suppose the urge to go back and work as hard as he could after being on. I know I suppose the 6 in a row has its own push, but it's still a huge task. Like, and he's a young child after coming there as well. That would have. I'm no doubt. I know myself from experience. Throws a few curveballs along the way when a new child comes along the way. But to be able to keep doing that and the rehab and get back out there at the last, credit to him, like I suppose. And as I said to you at the start when we started talking about him, he made 2 or 3 vital touches. and interceptions, and had his body in the right place at the right time, like Davy Wood. So I'm sure he's happy with how his performance was as well.
With that, Eugene, Thomas's went in to break 12-8 up, and when it got to 15-8 on 34 minutes, I think everyone was kind of thinking, oh no, is this just going to go away from Sarsfields now? Because Thomas's really looked like they were in control. But like, credit to Sarsfields for showing the character there, because it's very easy to just throw in the towel there.
It is, and I suppose it was kind of it was a bit like the or more kind of first half as well, with the way they were, it was just like they were finding it hard to get into it, and when they they're very, very good when they get going. Like, to watch them when they get going, when they get the ball, when they start moving and going hard, fast, like, and swinging the ball, like, they're very, very good stick lads. And that, as Davey said there, right, a little bit maybe of unexperience about finishing them off at the right time. You have to finish everything right against Thomas, or you're going to get punished. But like, maybe that was a little bit pressure at the start of the game, where maybe they'd have thought from the previous year, oh, we don't want this to happen again. And you're right, that could have crept into a few minds, but they bounced back, and it showed character. It showed a little bit more than how they failed last year, where I thought maybe they were going right well, that they would have tipped them, and fair play to them. They came, they got the scores, they got the ball rolling, and they started to ask questions about Thomas's. But like, Thomas's, I suppose, when they got to that level and had the 15-8 up, like, they might have stepped back a little bit. But when they had to come again, they come again, if you get me. And they were able to, absorb the pressure. Where if a goal or two went in, I think it could have been different. I think Sarsfields would have their tails would have rose more. I think they would have got more belief. And
Did Sarsfields need to go ahead there, do you feel? It just, because if you look at it, it got back to 16-15, and then 46 minutes, Conor Cooney, Victor Manzo, 18-15. And then even when it gets back to after Kevin Cooney's goal, 119-117, Conor Cooney responds again.
Yeah, and that's the difference, They just find the whole experience just finds the right lad. They've been in so many plays like that before, that it's automatically thinking that when they react to that, they have lads on the field reacting to it. And it's just pure little experience. Like, they've been in that place so many times that three lads are automatically going to go and make a move for a pass, for a ball, or whatever. It's in their DNA now. So, like, as I say, you really, really have to finish them and get a goal. They needed. Yeah, they were unlucky not to get one or two goals there. But I think maybe Sarsis might have said to themselves, did we give them too much respect? Did we, why were we fearing as much? And when they did get going, I suppose Sarsis would have probably preferred another 20 minutes onto that game. And, the result might have been different, leaving Conor Cooney very, very free. He's so clever that, you need to be watching him. You need a lad that is absolutely, nearly pulling his socks up off his boots, that you're that tight to him. You're pulling the shorts off, like, because you give him no more than any of the great lads down through the years, and he has quality, and he has been there, done that. You give him 2 yards. That's all he needs. It doesn't matter what part of the field, because he'll either take a shot or he will find someone. So this is where you need experience, I suppose, where Sarsfields might not have had it at the end, is where they might have just made a few mistakes and left themselves very, very open, where Thomas has ran into them positions where there was a bit of space and they found the right lad. And again, they're so used to plays happening like that, somebody's going to be free. They make the run, and it's like a ghost running. You're so into the game. And this is, again, an experience. A young lad is there, and he's ball watching, it's so tight, it's tense. All of a sudden, that split 3 or 4 seconds, you look around, Jesus, where's me man? He's after, wander. Now, you could go with him, but what it's done is creating havoc. And that's what they're very good at. And maybe, a little bit of unexperience. They're still, as Greg says there, a little bit light, Sarsfields, but I still think they have a great panel there as well. And I watched them under 20 level against Turlock, and I see a few of them, really improving. But it will take another year or two. It's like Loughrea. I give Loughrea and themselves probably going ahead in the next couple of years, really and truly, if they hold their strength and panels of what they have, because they are the young teams and the youth at the moment, Turlock are in fine special at the moment, and Thomases are coming out at the other end of it. Yeah, I feel sorry for them because I was delighted that they rose to the occasion and the second half, and they went at them and they didn't falter altogether. Where last year, they did, and it let them down, and it was an awful. They didn't like to lose the way they did last year, and to come back, and I maybe that was in a few of their heads, that performance, and it stuck with a few of them, and it was too late that they didn't realise that we should have been going at this from the very start instead of leaving it to the second half and going at it.
With that, Craig, you talked about Joseph Cooney's chance running in. It's saved by Jared Kelly. Then I think it's Ian Fox after that kind of gets a hurl to it. And you can see Jared Kelly is just racing across to get there. You talk about the shots they missed, but surely they're the two chances that they'll just have nightmares over.
Oh yeah, especially Joseph's ones. I know the Ian Fox one was kind of more, it wouldn't let, no, don't get me wrong, it could have easily creeped in like Jordan Wells get across, but Joseph one just popped up lovely for him, and I've seen that so many times before, or 99 times out of 100, that is roof of the net, it's just. But no, fair to Jordan, he stood, he stood firm twice, and he had a good game overall. His short workouts are brilliant to the wing, and they've mastered that now, Thomas's, and they're getting scores off that. They did it against us in the group where their two wing backs go up along the line, and Jared has it off to a tee. So it wasn't just he saves at the end. I thought he was very good all day, and it's amazing. It just shows again the leadership Davy. I just noticed after that save, the third mid from Joy, Davy was the first man in, tapping the back. Well done, job. Or you could see Jared's shoulders are raising up, and he made the next save then again 2 minutes later. But that's just the sign of the leadership. But no, look at it without a doubt. But like I said to you, or what we spoke about, I think when they look back at it, Sarsfields, they could have been in control of that game if they took their scores in the first half instead of being 4 points down at half time and not having to chase back the 6 point lead. And then Thomas showed their experience. They scored 1-3 without reply. And then, most teams after that, sometimes they can get a point to stop the run. And the next team will get a point or two. But Thomas score 1-3 out of the traps. Sarsfields get the penalty. But I just think they left themselves too far to climb. I just think with Thomas's the first half like that, and maybe I don't know, were they getting enough out there?
Are Thomas is a better team this year than last year?
Well, I think that the lads that have stepped up to the plate, the John Heads, Victor Manzo, these lads that maybe wouldn't have been their go-to men last year have really stepped up to the plate this year. Like John Head was very good the last day. Victor Manzo got a point to the fighting stage the last day. They've stepped up because Burner is gone, Mark Caulfield is gone, Davy's been gone. So they've been three vital lads for them that have been gone from last year. So I think they've stepped up to the plate a lot. So overall, they're probably a bit shorter panel-wise, but I think those lads have stepped up to the plate and definitely made it all around. Are they better? It's hard to know. I just think they're so experienced now. It's like Eugene's team at Portumna for many years, and many of the times they've used their experience to beat us in county semi-finals and county finals. It's just they know what to do at the right time. I spoke about this 2 weeks ago on the podcast. At the right time, they do the right things. Aina, Dara in particular, James, Connor obviously, Shane does the right thing. Shane made a run up the wing the last day with 5 minutes to go from centre back and popped off a hand pass to, I think it was Oisin Flannery, down the wing. He knew he had to make that run from centre back to get a point out of it. And just doing the right things at the right time. He was sitting back. Shane nearly came into the game more in the last 5 minutes than he did it all game because he knew he was needed. Fenton and Keane are very experienced. No more than Eugene back in his day, full back. You'd be borderline jail time for the stuff they're getting away with, but they're doing it. They're getting away with it all the time because they know how to play it. And they've just gained that. David Sherry is very good as well in that front. And Evan Duggan is stepping up to play it now as well. He's getting his few points every game. So overall, I think they're just so experienced now that they know what to do and they know how to win games and they don't panic. They're carbon copy of Eugene's team back in the day. And I suppose that comes with experience, obviously, and comes with winning county finals and not losing any county finals. They've never lost a county final and they just know how to win stuff now. And I suppose I suppose that's what's going to be Turlock's biggest task the next day is how do they not alone have a plan A, but have a plan B when it's not working. Because there's going to be times in the county final when plan A is not working and have your plan B ready. And I think that's where Turlock are probably strong, where they have a panel where they can go to a plan B if plan A is not working, especially with Lofty back now. If Kevin Hussey's back, they've loads of options that they didn't have the last day. But look, I suppose that's where you need to break it down. Everybody goes out and they say, sure, look at if we stop Conor Cooney scoring X amount of points, or if we can stop Aina and Dara moving the ball around, stop James moving to centre back, pinpoint Fintan or Keane. But it's easier said than done, because everybody says it. We said it in the first round of the championship, but it's so hard to do, and they're so good at it. So, and that's where I think that where they've improved from last year, and maybe they're better than last year, is the likes of Victor Manzo and the likes of John Head, and even Jamie McGlynn to a certain degree. Like these lads, these have stepped up to the plate, and they're chipping in with their fair share now anymore. They're not waiting for Davy or James or Connor or the older lads to do it. And I think that's where they're going to be so hard to beat in county final.
In one word, lads, are Thomas is going to do 6 in a row, or are Turlock going to end the famine?
It's going to be close. It's going to be very, very close. I think that Turlock will get massive. I think Eugene mentioned it earlier on. Turlock will get massive belief after that win in the semi-final. It's their biggest win since getting to the county final 3 years ago. I think that they were very sluggish in the group, in particular against us. But I think they've gained a lot of players since that. And I think that their biggest strength on in the next day is their panel and their selection and their array of players is just phenomenal. Hence why they have an intermediate team. They just have a massive selection of players. That's their biggest strength. Thomas is just experience going through county finals. They don't lose them. They've won 7 county finals. I think they've 7 county finals played, 7 county finals won with this team since the started in 2012. So they've loads of experience. To call it, I don't know. There's lots of questions. There's lots did Sean Loftus start the game the next day? To me, if he's fit enough to start the game, he's a big game player. He'd be a massive, massive plus to Turlough. Does Davy start the full game the next day? He only played 10 minutes the last day. It's 2 weeks. These are questions that we can't answer here today. But if they do play, they'll have massive bearings on the game. Turlough, for all the players they have, with all the players they have the next day, I'd say the biggest selection worry is going to be who do you start, because lads played so well, as Eugene said. They played a massive game the last day, won the games right. Who do you start the next day? Where do they start the next day? So they've used. I'd love to know the number of players they've used so far this year in the championship more, because I'd say it's massive. So look, there's loads of questions to be asked. Without sitting on the fence, I think that if I was sitting here now the day before the county final Saturday week, I'd probably just pick Thomas's for their experience and their know-how. But as Joe Hessian said here in the podcast last day, I wouldn't be surprised if Turlough pulls something out of the bag as well, and I wouldn't be writing them off. Obviously, it's a county final, but they are very evenly matched teams.
Eugene, final say on the county final?
Well, the team I thought was going to challenge it and even in it, so I got it wrong at the start. But
me too.
I'd say, look at I watch both teams. I seen them hurling against us as well, and what impressed me at Thomas is I think they are a better team than last year. I think they have 1 or 2 more holes filled, as Greg was saying it there, with lads back, which is a huge boost. It's a bit of freshness when you need when you're going well, and when you can pluck up 1 or 2 that gets in where 1 or 2 lads aren't going as well, and the engines are low. It's amazing how they come in, they kick on. As Greg says there again, there's a couple of them stepping up. That actually helps, because what you have on the sideline is you're getting a lad refreshed. No, that's the experience where you'd fancy them. As for yesterday, what Turlough gave themselves was belief. And if they can really, really find it, and at 100 mile an hour, and again, not repeating again, but Craig is right, that they need a plan B. And that if the lads get it right on the line and let them go on it and have that all very, very clear, and just let them, for the week of themselves, get their individual mindset right, get all your tactics out of the way, just get the bodies right, get the energy so much. You'll need every bit of it. You need 70 minutes for a county final because there'll be stoppages, there'll be Everton, and it usually goes into 64, 65. So you set yourself in your own head 70 minutes. Oh, the longer Turlock are in the game, I give them a chance. But if Thomas's pull a little bit, a few points ahead, I think they'll hold on the lead. I think they'll know how to break them down. I think they'll know how to maybe just close shop on them. But if Turlock, it's going to be a hard one to call. I just think Turlock are coming like what Loughrea had last year against Thomas. You were giving them a great chance, and it was only a puck of a ball in it. So if we get a county final the same way again with a puck of a ball in it, it's any man's. I'll just give Thomas's the edge. I just think myself, looking at what I seen myself, it's only my own personal view on what I seen and spoke to Thomas's after the match. I just got this looking from a few of them. I think there's one more crack in the whip out of them this time around, and I think that might just stand to them. As for Turlock, I wish them the best of luck. I hope to go out and throw everything at them and don't fear it. Go out and enjoy it. It's once in a lifetime these things come around when you get to county finals. Don't let anything be putting you off. Just get your head right and look forward to giving yourself the greatest chance you can at 70 minutes, 65, 70 minutes, and give it everything. Nobody can ask for any more as an individual when you're out there with teammates. Once you be honest and give it everything, you give yourself a chance anytime. That would be my side to Turlough more. I hope to come with a bang. But I maybe just like Greg said there, I might just fancy Thomas's to pip it,
I think we deserve massive credit, Eugene. The other two teams in our group that got to the county final.
Yeah.
We helped them along the way.
I thought we were doing very well against Thomas's at half time. We 2-10 to 2-12, but we were playing with the Hurricane, and a lad said to me, I think we're going very well going back into the dressing room. I says, hey, we want more than a Hurricane in the second half. So I said, because what these lads are going to do to us now. But then again, we asked one or two questions of Thomas's. I won't say it, but we asked one or two questions of Thomas's. And, I remember Kenneth saying to me, we found out one or two things about ourselves, and you went along and you showed us up on it. Now, if Turlock more are quick and wise and see that and maybe work on it. Now, Greg, I'll only hint again. I'm not. Greg mentioned the lad's name earlier on that has come to the fore for Turlock and is an option. That's my clue to it. I don't want to get in on bad sides of any Turlock or Thomas's, but looking at it, there was a couple of things we caused them. We were just hoping that they wouldn't let the wheels off altogether, and that's what they did. The steamrolled us in the second half, but it's credit to them. And I won't take it away from any team that go out there and it's a joy to watch. It's a joy to watch, and see and same with Turlock. Turlock got some great scores against us in Ballindereen, and we rejigged a little bit now as well against Turlock. That if Thomas's have a look out at that, we kind of, we were 16 points down against Turlock Moore, and we went into the dressing room and the poor boys had to go along, walk by the scoreboard. And I just said to them, look at lads, forget about the scoreboard. We'll go out. Let's try to win the second half. No, we did. We outscored them, in the second half. Might have been 1-9 to 12, or I think it was. But we scored 12 points and we held Turlock to 1-9. Now, we changed our team. So again, there's a few flaws there now, and like yourselves, Greg, ye would have opened the door on a few and asked the questions as well on both teams and seen the vulnerabilities. Now, they both have progressed and have improved and got players back, but still, they're the little kinks that you have to look into, and it might get you over the line. And as you see, Thomas has pulled the rabbit out of the bag last year by sending up their up to the centre forward, was it the centre back?
Yeah, Mark Coffey went up wing forward, yeah.
A wing forward, and nobody in Loughrea seen it, but he done enough to cause havoc for the day that scores that he got, the frees they got, I won the county final.
Yeah.
So, there's fine lines, lads. Whoever gets their matchups and their
find that rabbit in the hat, so.
Yeah, that's it. No, I might get a few clues there, but I won't take any credit for those players here.
just on the senior B final, lads.
Ah,
Mulla 215, Hascrafona 118. Hasker seemed to be chasing that game for large parts of the game. Then for people who might be a bit confused here, there's two Mark Kellys. So Mark Kelly, who takes the majority of their frees at number 10, but it was the Mark Kelly Jr., who they call him, the cornerbacks. Tidy finish for a cornerback puts them ahead, and then Mulla responded at the very end with Damien Monaghan, quick puck out and a goal for Mulla. But Hasker didn't respond to level it, and didn't seem too happy at the end. Then when they get the sideline and it's called, kind of sends it to Hasker forward, he catches it, but then the ref blows the final whistle. But just the last minute of that, or even injury time as a whole, like it was just the drama was just so chaotic.
oh, it was frantic. I I was watching on, and I was saying when the point went over the leveler and the puck was took, I just saying in my own head, referee, blow it up now. I could hear Searle in the commentary saying the same thing, just blow it up. And he let it go, and he let the ball go to the sideline. And I said, if Cahill points this from the sideline now, you better run out of Ballindereen as quick as you can, because all the drama was had with the two goals. Like, and I just said, "Jeez, let it go to a replay. It deserved a replay, like, you know." But yeah, the goals were unbelievable, and like even Derby tried his best to stop the goalie from poking the ball out after the Mulla goal, so he did, and he didn't get away with it, and they got the leveler. Hasker, but yeah, there was some drama. Like it was great to see, and credit to Hasker, like, because Mulla took off in the lead there to start the first half, and they came back, and they've been doing that all year. They did it in the semi final where they came back against Leitrim and Killadine, and they're a never say die team, like, and they got the reward the last day with a replay, but. Like it was just, I would have loved being in Ballinasloe for it. Like it was just one of those games where you would just, as a neutral, it's brilliant. As a supporter, of one of the clubs, you'll be looking the other way. Like, but there were two great goals, great finishes, and like it was great. Like, it's been great for Mulla. Like I would have played a lot against the Mulla lads when we were younger, Kevin Briscoe and Kyle Durvan, and even Derby, and them, like, and it's great for them lads to come back and see the club progress again, like, and push on. But for a Haskra, like it's just amazing, like how even there with 2 minutes injury time, Pádraig Mannion stood up with a serious catch, drove the ball down along. Cahill the same way. Cahill put the high ball in for the goal. It was just the way to lead that team, Cahill and Pádraig and Sean as well. Sean had a big part to play as well in the last few minutes, and you know they're just a credit. And like I'm looking forward to the replay now to see how it goes, because there's very little between the teams. So it's going to be a cracker of a replay. So this.
Who do you think has the advantage now going into the replay, Eugene?
I was with Mulla a couple of years ago, and you know, we were cruising against the Hascrafona, and you know, I'll never forget the day. It was again in Ballinasloe. We were 5 points up. We had all our matchups right. We were going well. We had a chance of just tapping the ball over the bar, and you know, a guy was going for the juggler, and he pulled it freaking wide, you know. And I was saying to myself, "Oh no, let's don't leave these lads in it," you know. And I hadn't said it. Oh Jesus! The Pádraig went down into full forward, and all they done was launch ball. Jesus, he got one goal. Right, 2 points in it. I says, "Come on, the hell, lads! Mulla get a pint." Then Hasker four and I get a pint, 2 pints in it. To come with another one. Oh Jesus! It was all it was nerve wracking stuff. What do you think? Sure, we fumbled it, and what do you think? Another goal for Hasker. They bet Mulla by a pint, right? And Mulla done all the hurling that day. And I said, oh, what a way to lose, you know, because they done everything right. But we made a mistake or two where if we tapped it over, it was done. But never say never. You have to give a hat for a never say never die attitude. They showed again the last day, and Mulla, they go hammer and tongs. It's like, you know, they're like two good boxers, like, they're going to start off around 13 now against each other the next day and go hammer and tongs again, because I don't think there'll be a whole lot in it. And I remember Hasker went on and had a fantastic run. They went on in the next game after beating Mulla at the time, and they got a late surge and a couple of goals. They went on in another game against Claregalway. They went to a county, was it a quarter-final or semi-final of the senior championship that year, of, you know, coming out of the woodwork, like. And that's a credit to the attitude they have. Now, Mulla had that would have stung Mulla for a long time. And I know a lot of lads out there, they're only out the road. I was involved with Camogie as well. And you'd have a lot of families and everything. And they love their hurling out there. They're so into it. And they have a fantastic setup out there in Mulla now. And they're a great club. There's no doubt about it. Um, they will be hurting. But I think Mulla this year, over a few years, have got a lot of things right. And I think it has steadied them as well. And it has given them that more belief. And a few lads in a few positions, the new young Dolphin is flying it. And, there's the centre back stood up.
You just on mute there, Eugene.
Sorry, lads. And the full back or the half back line were very good. They all chipped in a few pints each, which, when you're, Greg, I tell you, when the whole half back line is biting pints. Like, it's a great lift to anything. And the game had a lot of things. Goals, crackers, as you said there, like there was some great scores, great tackles, great hits. These two teams, again, will go at it, and it'll be it'll go to the end again. I don't think anybody will actually pull away too much, because Haskra will learn about a few things that, that they had to reset them and get back into the game, and they won't want Mulla to get a lead the next time, because I'd say if Mulla do, they might finish it out. So there's one thing you learn. Again, then Mulla say to themselves, look, come on, we have to deal with things maybe a little bit different and it'll bring on one or two more of them as well. So as Greg said, it'll be a cracker again, and the very best of luck to the two of them.
Who wins the replay for you, Craig?
I don't know. I think it's very evenly matched. Like, I don't think the way that finished the last day that anybody has an advantage going in. If it was one person that got one team that got the goal, fair enough. But the fact that the two of them got the goal, I don't think there can be much said that. No, Haskell did well to come back, I suppose, as the game progressed. But no, I think there's very little between them. Flick of a coin. I wouldn't be surprised if we went to extra time the next day.
So that's going to be taking place now with the intermediate final on Saturday week, which is between Ballindereen and Tina Abidjanari. Ballindereen 221, Ceylon 210, and then the other semi, Tina 219, Mealig Airport 14 points. Craig, just we were touching on Ballindereen the last time you were on, and they're not too far from Gort. They really came through this championship impressive. They knocked Moy out in the preliminary quarter-final. Then they built on that with a victory over Rahoon. But the last day against Ceylon, they just came thundering out of the blocks. Roy Lane with 9 points, Niall Cohn with 1-1, Evan Morgan with 4 points, and Poor Lafferty off the bench with 3 points. Like, it was a really statement victory for Ballindereen over the weekend.
Yeah, and I suppose they'd be probably, as mentioned here in the podcast, the last time we were speaking about them, they're probably disappointed, I suppose, that they didn't progress further last year after going down in their own eyes. And without a doubt, they've a lot of good hurlers there, and they'd be thinking definitely that they should be up in the senior B ranks without a doubt. And disappointed bounced to intermediate when they did 2 years ago. We played them in the group the same year in the senior B championship. But yeah, they have a lot of good hurlers. They were very good the last day. It was real, as you said, statement performance, put in a big performance, no more than Tina. But as to be expected, I think. I know Kevin Brady was speaking the last time we were on about Ceylon, his club being maybe 1 or 2 years too soon for the younger lads coming through, and I think that was probably came to the fore the last in the semi-final that when they get to that stage against a very experienced Ballindereen team, the Lanes there, Shane Larkin, a few of them lads would have been around a long time now. So they have loads of experience, and it's going to be a cracker of a final against Tina. Tipped Tina at the start of the year, just thought that they were too strong to be down in intermediate. They're definitely a senior B club. I'm friendly with a few of them up there, and if they're training, like they wouldn't have been happy at all last year to go down and try and shit. Like, they got back Paul, as we mentioned, Matty Kenny and Liam Hodgins got involved in the backroom team, and they have a really, really good setup there now at the minute. They had a very good battle over in our pitch with Ballindereen in the group, in the second group game. Third group game, actually, the day we played Portumna, and that was a cracker of a game. Ballindereen started off out of the traps very fast, got a man sent off, and it levelled itself up for a finish, finished up with draw. So there's very little between them. Very close one to call. But I think the two best teams are definitely in the intermediate final without a doubt, and the two form teams all year.
Yeah, with that, usually in the other semi, we're kind of expecting a real tight battle between Tina and Milik. Tina going into break 12-7 up, and it looked like it was going to be a tight game. Poor Brenny then, I think 5 minutes into the second half, bags a goal, and then Tina get that goal, and they just take control of the game.
Yeah, it was. I had to be very nervous as well. That would have been a very ding dong battle, as we say down here, having the two teams the way they were in, and also Field Airport after losing the county final to Clymer last year, like they would have thought, right, we're up against Teen Aberdeen, it's going to be no love lost, and I suppose maybe it could have been that little bit of nerves in it. One team needed to get the goal and maybe push on, and sure, Teen Aberdeen did that, and they did it with abundance. But I was talking to one or two guys and before the game, and I kind of said, how they all set up for it. Like, you're looking forward to it. And, given the old crack with a few poor customers that be coming into the shop, like from Tina and from Aircourt. So you'd be always like wondering how the whole thing is, any injuries or what, anything going. And the one thing Tina were saying, they made a few switches, like, and, from the previous game, they made a right few. And, one that was questioning, God, I don't know. And like this, but by God, I tell you, the boys got their homework done. They probably set a target of maybe certain things, and when the goal happened it ignited, and it took its course of itself. But like Tina are a good side, as Greg said there. They came down last year. I seen them with a Hasker phone playing a relegation match before we were playing Crobble in Loughrea last year. Now, it was the same day actually. Clymer played Aircourt in the county final in Ballindereen, and the weather was it was desperate. It was worse than worse. And I just thought it was a shame that Askra and Tina had to go out and play that game that morning, like, in Loughrea. You wouldn't put a cat out in it, you wouldn't put a dog out in it, for Christ's sake. And, I don't think even horse racing was called off that day, and they still had a double header down in Loughrea, but sure, that wouldn't surprise me. But like, where I just thought, when it just goes to show you, Haskerfona are now playing Mulla in a senior B final, and Teen Aberdeen were only a point off them that day with so many injuries. They had 12 lads, Teen Aberdeen out last year between lads away and everything. And, they came and regrouped, and they're a good outfit now. They have a good balance of lads, and they probably just had the two or three better hurlers than Milik Aircourt, maybe down through the lines. Milik would be dependent on a lot of certain players to play well, and I suppose Tina just had that more of a bench, more of a maybe a squad to be able to go out with their game plan and not fear it, because knowing that you have maybe a stronger team, that if we get going, it should get us over the line. And that was it. Like, when it came to, you put the 1 against the 15 and you go along out of 10. If you asked all the Aircraft lads how did they play, and you go and ask the Tina lads how did they play, like Tina would be more happier. And I suppose that's down to the quality they have. And yeah, like, I don't think they should have been down there, but that's the way it is. That's hurling. Down they went. They're back there now. They're there to have a go at it. They did play Ballindereen. As Greg mentioned there before, a lot of people were saying we were lucky to beat them. We didn't hurl the best way we thought we would. And they did say if they beat Aircourt, that if Ballindereen are in the final, it's going to take a huge effort. And they have said that before. Now, this will be the hurlers on the ditch, not the players themselves, but like they were just saying, like, it's not going to be easy, and no finals are. So I just think, Matty, the experience of Matty, the experience of Hodge, and to have a good setup, that experience will be vital to a few of these lads that haven't played a final like this in a long time. As for Ballindereen, they'll have the experience of a few lads playing finals and on the sideline as well. And you need them. You need them to maybe in a big game like this, because it's not an easy place to be in an intermediate. You see with Aircourt last year and the year before, and Clymer were the same. Like, it's hard win. It's hard win. And if you lose one and you have to go again, it's a hard place to come out of intermediate. Like, you know, it is a hard one, and you can have the best team on paper. It's on the day too, you know, it's just teams are able to pull teams down to another level. But I just think Tina Aberdeenry, you know, that game against their neighbours will really, really give them confidence going forward. And so will Ballindereen have the same foe as well. But I'll tip Tina Aberdeenry on this one.
Just on Tina to finish, Craig, like their favourites, they're back in the final. Ballindereen are going to be written off in this final because just the quality Tina have, and they've been expected to win intermediate from the outset, and I'm sure they'll buy into that using that as motivation. But a question that came in from one of the followers in the question poll when you were both coming on. The question comes in here: can Tina win an intermediate All Ireland? And obviously they're not thinking of that now. It's a long way to go, but like if they are to get over Ballindereen, it's not impossible for Tina to go on her own.
Yeah, like without like they definitely have the squad or the players definitely experience wise for that. No, first of all, I presume they won't be thinking about it or something like that, or they'll be long distance away in their memory or in their thoughts. But like the only thing about that I'd say is that within Galway, you're talking about 24 teams before you even get to an intermediate team. So like you've what 12 and 8, isn't it? 16 and 8. Sorry, 16 and 8. My maths is never the best. So 16 and 8 teams. So you have 24 teams in Galway before you even get to an intermediate. Where Kilkenny have 8 senior teams.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the 9th team in Kilkenny is going to be in an intermediate final. So I don't know would I be agreeing with your listener there. No, maybe Tina or Ballindereen, whoever rings, can prove me wrong. But the way the Galway Championship is set up with senior A and senior B teams, there's so many teams involved in it. That's why you never see an intermediate team ever progress very far in the Ireland stages, because they're coming up against teams that are the 9th, 10th, and even stronger counties that have more teams. They're 12th and 13th team in the county, like whereas it's our always 25th team. So it'd be a big task. It always has been for an intermediate team, and that's why you don't see too many of them. But is it within their realms or in their realms? 100%. Like Tina said to you there the last hour in the podcast, like they've 3 really quality hurlers of a spine with Pádraig, Shane, and Paul. And then they've a lot more like in and a few more there along the lines that can really Paul or Conroy like they've a lot of, yeah, like they've a lot of lads there that are well capable and have been playing senior hurling for the last 7, 8, 10 years at a high level. So like there's no doubt in them. I'll be with you, and I tipped them in the county final the next day. But in saying that, I've seen them against Ballindereen that day in Gort, and Ballindereen can bring the same aggression and same start they did against Tina that day in Gort. Then it wouldn't surprise me if it ran very close. But I've been tipping Tina since the start of the year in that. I was shocked when they went down last year, to be honest. I know, as Eugene said, they did have an awful lot of injuries. Paul was in London, didn't play last year. There was a few factors, so I know they were hit hard last year, but they really got stuff together this year, and that's why I think they come back up. But in regards to your question, I don't know. It's a long road. It's a long road for that, and maybe, but it's just so much easier for other counties.
Yeah, particularly when you have to run into probably Turlough in a provincial championship too.
Exactly.
But just before we do finish, just on the senior relegation, Claregalway 120, Portumna 13 points. I don't want to touch on it too much now, Eugene, if it still is.
Oh, you can't. Oh, no, you can work away. What's done on the field is done. As the lad would say, I wouldn't back away from any questions at all before or after, win or lose. You know, you deal with them matches, and when you do, you go home, you think about it, and that's it. I don't carry burdens with me of any sort, and well deserved. Kilkenny. I spoke to them in the dressing room. I was fairly impressed with them. Now, all fairness, they were very, very dead everything right. All fairness, no, we missed a bit at the start. Had chances, and you know, didn't go away. Frustration started to dig in a bit. Kilkenny held their composure, held their cool, got the scores when they needed it, and they worked very, very hard. They worked tremendously hard. I have to give them 10 out of 10 for the work rate. I spoke that to them. I said to them, probably they were unfortunate to be in there. I said to them, Crowell got very, very lucky in the first game they played them, and in the replay, then they lost, and probably didn't have to be in that position to face Portumna, you know. But as for what they done and set out with, we started a few things different, and they copped onto it. And you know, they pinched in points. There was some fantastic performances from a few other good players now. And you know what? As the game went on, they all started to hurl well. I looked at the bench. Even a young lad went on, took the Brown 2 subs, and like all the lads that were on the sideline of Kilkenairn's bench, they were just egging the lads on, like, you know, go on. Like I just said, they were all up for it. Every one of them were up for it. Management, backroom team, and all their subs and panel. You know, there were credit. You know, look at when the game has gone by you. You know, you're trying to get lads into it yourself. You're still fighting for it. You're still looking hard for it. But like, you know, it was obvious enough. You know, when you'd have experience at times when things don't go right for you, you kind of lay back off it a bit because you can see the game. You know, it is going away from you. It's gone too late to get back at, but you're looking at what they're doing. And I often do that. You know, I look what other teams, you know, are finishing out and what is working for them. And you have to take things out of that. You have to learn from that as management yourself. And you have to take it with a pinch of salt as well. And they're the times you learn. And I have to, you know, I was amazed, and you know, fair play to Kilkenarn. You know, I have no grudges whatsoever. You know, as I said, discipline was a big thing. They held their discipline. We didn't lose. We lost our discipline a lot of times. It came back to bite us. It haunted us, punished us. But, you know, that's the factor. That's the game. You know, they stuck with their game plan. They've seen it from start to finish. Every one of them, it was like winning a county final. Fair play to them. You know, and as I said to them in the dressing room, you know, you're after winning here today. You know, your next game, you know, try to have it a W as well. But, you know, come better next year. Get fitter. You know, come with that determination, but you want it in every game. I says, you know what? You get back at it, and the very best of luck, you know, and fair play to them.
Where do you go from here, do you feel?
Our lads will have to regroup. There's a few lads missing. There's a few lads to come back. They're going to have to sit down and ask the question to themselves. You know, a couple of young lads are going to have to, you know, first commit. You know, and the thing is committing early, and is to get a whole new setup with a management team and a backroom team, and a few young lads have to step up and lead the charge of getting things back going, because you know it says a lot. They left a lot of things too late this year around, and you know it wasn't a place to be going in short of anything, going into a senior A championship, and you know what, they had to come out of senior B, and it took huge effort. Now they were depleted with a lot of lads. Look at, few lads retired, and a few lads took time off, and a few lads went away. Now that's understandable. And you know, as I say, they gave a huge commitment for 2 years to get back up to senior A. And I wouldn't stop anyone going away, or, you know, that's their life. Lads have their own lives as well. And you can't be really matching it with, you know, we were a different outfit back in the day. We had different things to be doing. And, you know, life has changed a bit as well, I suppose. But going back to it, they have to regroup. They have to come together and ask themselves, well, out of 10, what will I mark myself with effort and commitment last year? And a lot of them probably would go across with, say, 5, 6. And that's my opinion. You know, I'd be fair, but there's a lot of the other side of it then, as I said to a lot of our guys, I said, we're probably one of the only clubs in Ireland that actually went down to a junior B team, and in 14 months, we transformed 10 players that played from junior B that played senior championship. Now, whatever about getting 1 or 2 young lads that would be just under the code of playing senior, that he'd be good. And you might get 1 lad in anywhere in Ireland that's playing on a junior A or junior B, and you're only waiting for him to get to his age, and he bangs in there straight away. He's playing county, he's playing under 16, he could be playing with the Galway under 17s, right? Like when you had to go along and recess and ask a lot of them young lads, as I said to them, I'm very proud of them, because it was like letting a cat into lines, like, you know, and facing hard games. But you know what? You can only face what's in front of you. And as I said, if it's any good experience, what you know how far you're off and what you have to really do to get up is going to take a huge commitment. But the one thing a lot of you have is that nobody in the whole of Ireland would have had is you've played senior championship. You can ask the honest question, am I good enough? Or can I really work hard and get there and to hang in there and really improve your own skill? And to me, that's one big thing, that a big plus they can take out of it. And I spoke to them about that at the end of the match and said, be proud of yourselves, because not any other club in Ireland would have tried to do what we've done. And fair play to them. You know, they still went out, they talked out, they trained, you know, and regardless, they were behind maybe on fitness levels. But look, I went in late with a few lads, and as I say, you can only guide them the best you can. And, you know, we got good help there with John Madden and Johnny Kelly came in to help us out, you know, because there was a lot of areas we had to try to get going, and we wouldn't have it as big panel of management as we had the last couple of years. So, you know, putting that all aside, you know, there was a lot of disruption, but, you know, you deal with what you have. You can only deal with what's in front of you. And as I say, I'd have no regrets. I'd be very proud of what they had to go through. And as going forward, they have lads there. There's a few young lads to come through. As I said, they ask themselves the question in the mirror, out of 10, what did I score myself for the whole year, not just one match? And ask yourself then, am I committed to get up to 8, 9 or 10? And if they do, they'll challenge. You know, they'll challenge, because there's one or two lads come back next year and they're good hurlers and they will fill serious positions. As the question lays now, how many more lads might stay on? Andy Smith, fair play to him, came back and gave us a few games this year. You know, we lost Martin Dolphin with injury. Roney came back for one game. He was out for the year. You know, we had a lot of big players. Like Conor O'Hare was the best fullback at Galway last year. He marked every intercounty, every forward that was marking him last year. He played full back for us. Nobody scored him. Nobody could manage him. And he was probably my best full back in Galway hurling last year, because he was an athlete, he's an animal, he leads from example. You know, if any young lad wants to look and say, how do you look after yourself mentally, you know, physically, you know, he just takes it to another level. And, you know, when you lose big players like that, you're going to leave holes, and it's very hard for young lads to step up. But you know what? They got experience of what it is like in the senior A championship in Galway. And hopefully, you know, a lot of them, you know, please God, will go on and maybe, as I was asking, maybe go on and kick on. And I hope a lot of them be honest as well and say to themselves, well, if I'm not, I can help out in some other way and strengthen up maybe a junior team and be leaders there, you know. But be positive about it, you know. Everybody will want to shoot the daggers out and be negative, like, you know, what are you going to do? Go back 3 steps and only go forward 1? You know, you can go back 1, go forward 2. You know, as I say, you know, you have to take, you know, the criticism, but don't take too much of it. You know, draw a line in it and kick on. Use it as aggression. Use it as food for thought. Use it for whatever way you want it, but use it positively. You know, and I think that'd be very, very. I mean, you know, thing for our club, as my own local club would say. You know, but. You know, that's life. I was down there. I seen it happen with Portumna years and years ago when they won intermediate. You know, I was 15 when I played in 1995 in our first county final against Sarsfields, like, you know, and sure, you're going up against the greats that time. And, you know, we thought we'd never see the day that you'd be still playing and winning All-Irelands and getting 4 Club All-Irelands. And at that time, when I was 15, 16, I was only happy to play senior. You know, that was my dream. You know, so like, you know, things can happen. Things take time, you know, and as I would say, if you have them dreams, you can make them happen, you know.
Yeah, so that result sees Kilkaniron retain their status in senior hurling. Portumna will play senior B hurling in 2024. Later in the week, we'll have the updated version of the power rankings with Jeff Linsky, and we'll be back next week with county final previews in senior B, intermediate, and senior course. Congratulations to Sakana Montpellier as well, who won the junior A over the weekend. That sees them
One
playing.
as well.
Yeah, great game there. That result sees them play intermediate hurling for 2024. But that's all we do have time for today's show. Thanks a million to Craig and Eugene for coming on.